Hello everyone and welcome to this Women in Tech Roundtable. We've got some great stuff to talk about and I'm joined by some incredible other women from the industry. So before we get started, my name's Vicky Gardner and I'm Director of Group Retail Sales, and I'm joined by, shall I start with Sam?
Yes, my name's Sam and I'm an account manager at Codeweavers.
I'm Harriet, I'm a service transition manager within CapG.
And I'm Victoria and I'm also an account manager at Codeweavers.
So we're going to get into some conversation, aren't we? And we're going to kick off the conversation with about how we got into our roles today. So who wants to start?
I'll start. So my first ever role was in a car dealership at 18, and I started off in the glamorous parts department and then worked in the sales department, and then many years later jumped into tech by starting on a service desk and working in the service delivery space, and that has kind of quite organically grown into working in the service transition area. So it wasn't something that I plotted out. I kind of just seemed to naturally follow different opportunities and paths and took on challenges and have ended up where I am now.
Bit of a difference from when you started then.
Yeah, really different. Never, as someone at school, I would never have said that I would have had any kind of career in tech or probably be linked to the automotive industry, but every role I've had has somehow been linked to automotive, which is just purely a coincidence, but it seems to have just been that way.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
Mine was quite unconventional. So yeah, I left school, went to college to do media, and then got pregnant quite early on. So obviously I had my son. So my career didn't really get started until probably 5 years ago, because my priority was always being a mom, I suppose. So I did just jobs that kind of worked in terms of the hours that I'd be working and things like that at the time.
The juggle's real, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did chefing, care work, like just a bit of everything really. And then, yeah, got a job in tech probably 5 years ago, like I say, and then applied for the job at Codeweavers as an account manager, and it's gone from there.
Strength to strength.
Yeah, so no, it's been good.
And Vic?
My first job was actually working like a Saturday job in a little shop that sold like hair bubbles and all lovely like children things, you know, what everyone would be obsessed with when you were a teenage girl.
Love that.
But this is actually my first tech job. So I started here 5 years ago. Before that, I was mainly working in retail, whilst juggling a degree as well. And then I did my degree and then found this job here and started in support and kind of just worked my way up into an account manager position.
What was your degree in?
Mechanical engineering.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Where did you do that?
At Lancaster University.
Amazing. That's so cool.
So I did engineering at college and worked like part-time jobs whilst at college, and then went to university in Lancaster, did my mechanical engineering, and then COVID kind of hit and ruined everything really. Made the market a lot tougher to get a role in engineering in particular. And then yeah, my husband actually worked for Codeweavers before, so like that's what kind of, I saw how good it was as a place of work and the support they gave. So yeah, that really inspired me to kind of apply for a job here.
Assuming there wasn't many other females in your degree course.
No, there wasn't.
That's a massive assumption.
No, what was really strange was actually the transition from high school to college, because I went to an all-girls high school and then I went to do engineering where I was the only girl out of 32
Wow.
on my course for 2 years. So that was quite a change. And then the ratio as well, like being at university, there were women, but it wasn't many at all. Probably like 10% of the course was women.
No way.
Yeah.
That was quite daunting at the time as well.
It was daunting, but I always liked a challenge.
Yeah.
And still do. But it was challenging in the sense of, you know, making sure your voice is heard, and yeah, I love maths and science, so that's why I did it.
Amazing.
Yeah. What about yourself?
My first job, I was a pot wash at a pub. £3 1p an hour, and I worked my way up to doing waitressing and stuff, and I just developed this love for talking to people, and then I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I was at school and college. I wasn't overly interested. I wasn't very academic, but I ended up doing a degree in printed textiles and surface pattern design, so very creative. But again, it was something that I just enjoyed doing. And then when I graduated, I kind of, again, didn't really know what I wanted to do, and then fell into a job at a software house. And it was for the service and maintenance industry for like air conditioning and refrigeration. And then I developed this absolute passion for software and what it can do and how it can help people. So I really enjoyed doing that. And I started doing sort of telesales, and then moved up to software support, first line support, second line support. And then I moved into training, which I absolutely loved, because again, working with people and showing them how to use the product and get the best out of it. So I really enjoyed that. And then wanted to go into field sales, and there just wasn't the opportunity to do that. So then I moved to another business, which I absolutely loved again. And then, moved into Cox Automotive, and now in Codeweavers. So love it. So we're going to talk about some challenges, aren't we? So you've got a really good story about when you, back in the day.
When I first graduated, I did a few different work experiences at large engineering firms, small engineering firms, and it was one of the smaller ones, but I actually turned up to do work experience for a week, and there wasn't actually a women's toilet there, which was just shocking.
Was there no females working there?
There were in the office maybe, but obviously not like with the machinery. I say obviously because there wasn't a toilet on the work floor. And it was kind of a shock to them that a girl of my age at the time would want to come and actually see how it works. But comparing that to one of the big companies I went to, it was a big manufacturing company, that was handled completely different. I say the split was a bit higher, but not a lot of women work there. It was a bit of a shock to the system.
And there is a bit of a shocker stat, isn't there? I think the stats from last year was that 30% female representation in the STEM industry, but only 21% of that is tech and engineering.
Is that as a whole?
As a whole in the UK, yeah.
Right, wow. That's much lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and I think like when you think about how do we attract more females into the industry, again, it's like, what can we do to I think as well, particularly around automotive, when you're a young girl in school, you kind of think about automotive, you think cars, you think men, and it's just so much more than that, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
definitely.
You think about all the different career spaces you can go into.
But I think that's the same in tech.
Yeah.
So I think when people talk about tech, they literally jump to an assumption, and they have a preformed idea of what that is.
Yeah.
That it has to be, that you have to be very technically minded. It's all about coding and developing, and honestly, people that know me know I am the least technically minded person ever. I never thought I would end up with any kind of career in tech, but there is so many more roles.
Yeah.
That you can be involved in, whether it's around that service delivery side and the governance around it, project management, product, so many more areas, and I don't think that's particularly known unless you're already in the industry, or you naturally fall into
stats
it.
are quite low.
Yeah.
Lack of knowledge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I do think one thing that really encouraged me, whilst being at uni and also being a young girl, enjoying those subjects that maybe are more male dominated and they thrive in, was being part of the STEM ambassador system at university, where we would actually host younger. They would bring a group of girls to the university. They'd stay for a couple of nights and actually experience what the engineering side was about. So it wasn't just in my experience of saying I'm a mechanical engineer, people assume you're a mechanic. They don't actually understand the goings on behind closed doors with what you actually learn. So bringing younger girls and giving them the experience of university and that department was really, really good.
That's an amazing programme. You were part of that. You were in
it was really good. Every summer you'd host different groups from across the UK that would come to the university, or you'd host tours, and like being part of the STEM ambassadorry system allowed you to do that, and hopefully inspire other girls to join.
That's so cool. And we've got a lot of work to do clearly still, haven't we?
We have, but I don't know about how you feel, but it's not something that I'm particularly conscious about all of the time. Maybe it's because I've kind of, like I say, my career's been quite organic and I've not planned it. But it's not something that I'm conscious of. So then when I hear stats like that or experiences like that, then I am kind of sometimes shocked into that is still the reality.
Yeah.
Like taking the team that myself and Sam work in, there's only 2 men and the rest are women. So we're actually in quite a female-dominated team. So it does kind of, you do have your blinkers on a bit, don't you? Because we work well, but it is female dominated in our team.
I think Codeweavers in general, there's quite a few women, isn't there? So you don't recognise that stat like as much.
I think being part of Women with Drive as well. So I've been part of Women with Drive for the last couple of years. Just handed it over to Emily and Laura Lund to continue the growth and journey that it's been on. But we did quite a lot of research in like the stats around engineering and Cap G, and again, it's like probably the most underrepresented across the board in Cox Automotive. I'm talking about that, but so there's a lot of work to do there. But I think there's maybe some programs similar to what you're talking about, going into some schools or colleges and talking about the breadth of different journeys that you can take, because it's just that visibility, isn't it?
Yeah,
because
definitely.
you just don't, if you don't know it's there, then you don't know it's there. So what are the challenge? Have you had any kind of particular instances that have been really difficult to overcome in your career so far with regards to being female? Got any stories you can tell?
Oh, probably not on this. I think sometimes it is interesting from a female perspective so for example in my role, sometimes I have to be the only one in part of a session or a call to say no.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes that can, if you are strong and you do stick to your guns, that can be perceived slightly differently.
Yes.
Like coming from a woman
More aggressive, maybe.
than from a man. It can be sometimes, and I'm not saying this is a general rule, because there's, I think, also a lot, especially at Cox, a lot of very, is open-minded the right term? But, I think sometimes you can be seen as difficult, bossy, whereas I think...
Or emotional.
Emotional, and I am emotional.
Me too.
My boss will testify to that. I've cried many a time with him, and that's just who I am.
Because you care and you're passionate about
yeah,
what you do.
Yeah, and luckily he has said that. I get it, you're just passionate. Yeah. But I think sometimes if that was a man, it would be perceived differently. So it's not something that, maybe it held me back a bit when I was younger, and that's definitely grown with confidence. Yeah. And if you know you have the right backing, that plays a really big part.
Psychological safety, it's huge.
Yeah, but I think that's probably been the biggest thing. Knowing to stand your ground and just knowing that sometimes that can be perceived differently because you're a woman. Yeah.
I think that ties into what was quite overwhelming when I first became an account manager, was like doing demos in front of it would be groups of men, like typically in the industry, but sitting there doing demos on Teams, or like even when you go and visit like client visits, it is still quite male dominated, isn't it? So I can imagine if you haven't got like quite a strong character, or you don't have those boundaries in place like what you've just said, it can be quite overwhelming. But I think it's just important to
as well,
definitely
face when you're like the only woman, say, on the demo, and you've faced with a group of men. It's almost reminding yourself that you are where you are because you're worthy of being where you are,
Yeah.
and you get it and you know what you're talking about. I think it comes with confidence.
Confidence is a massive issue still. I think I talk to loads of women about confidence, and it's something that I think is just constantly a work in progress for everyone.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's 100% confident.
No.
And it's completely normal. But I think showing that vulnerability a little bit can help others see that, do you know what? Not everybody's got everything together all the time. It's just not the reality, is it?
Yeah, and I think having that honesty can actually boost other people's confidence.
It's more relatable rather than trying to perceive yourself as, like you say, having it together all the time when no one has.
Nope.
It's normal to be like this. Yeah, it's normal to be nervous. It's normal not to be on top of everything all the time, every day. I'm not the only one.
Oh my God, no. Yeah. No one's alone in that. That's for sure.
So going back to, obviously, confidence, there's actually a statistic from last year that 70% of women feel like they have to work harder to prove themselves because of their gender, which I think is quite shocking. Yeah, it's quite annoying as well.
And is that specific to STEM industries?
Yeah, in general.
I do think it falls into like that when we were looking at Women Who Drive again, linking it back to that, but obviously I'm really passionate about this stuff, and I know how confidence is just like, it holds so many people back, but females back in particular. But we were reading this book, and it was called The 10 Habits That Hold Us Back, and one of them was the perfection trap. And I think so many of us fall into that thing where we think we've got every piece of work that we do has to be absolutely perfect with a cherry on top and in a bow, when actually good is better than, like, done is better than perfect, if you know what I mean. So as long as you get the job done, nothing has to be perfect. Does it?
And I can relate to that totally.
Yeah, me too.
I think no one puts more pressure on me than I put on me. Because I am a perfectionist, so I feel like everything I do has to be 100%, 110%. Sometimes I think you do have to take that step back, but I do think confidence is a massive part of it, and I know for me personally that has increased with age and experience, and it's, I suppose, life, without sounding cheesy.
I think it's about having the right framework and feeling empowered to make those decisions, and like you say, the backing from either the people you line manage or people who manage you, or your peers. But I think confidence is also real key with our clients when we're working with them, and understanding the boundaries that are set of what is acceptable piece of work, you were saying. Do you go above and beyond and then it's not actually appreciated, or or can we just set that level of good and just complete it, get whatever we need to across to them, and that's how it should be done.
I was just going to bring up another point of, don't you think, obviously, I personally am my own worst critic, right? And I'm really horrible to myself sometimes. And I think when we it's that voice, isn't it, of talking to us, I would never talk to anybody else the way I talk to myself. And I think a lot of women suffer with that, really harsh on our own abilities and things. And you come off at something and you go, oh, I could have done it like that. Why didn't I do it like that? And you tell yourself off. But I'd never say that to anyone else. It's funny, isn't it?
How do you think that relates back to almost doing that because you feel like you've got something to prove?
Again,
with being female in
always.
The industry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've definitely got more confident as I've gotten older, and the more I've done stuff, right? So the more I've been on stage and done presentations and stuff, the more you do it, it does get slightly less scary every time you do it, but still get really, really nervous before I do those things. But the self-criticalness I've managed to kind of dumb that down a little bit more, because that's just not productive. It's not helpful. Like I say, I wouldn't say that to anyone else. So why would I say it to myself?
Yeah. And I know for me personally, I find that statistic really, really sad. And it also makes me think, gosh, I think I've been pretty lucky as well in some of the managers I have had. I think I've got them to thank a lot. Yeah, because I've had a couple of key in a former workplace, and then for the last few years here, really super supportive.
Championing you.
Yeah, but also pushing me.
Yeah.
Always kind of pushing me to do better. And I know that I've, in my role and what I do, I've improved that so much from when I introduced it, because my function didn't exist in CapG. So I've implemented it, developed it, progressed it, but it wouldn't be in the place it is now if I'd not been pushed as well and had that backing. So I think, if I'm in the minority in that, I think that's quite sad.
Yeah, and it's up to us as managers, leaders, to make sure that we're pushing that down as well.
Yeah.
So everybody that works with us, they need to feel that psychological safety to, have a go, and it's okay if we don't get everything right all the time.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I think having that support and backing, it makes all the difference,
Oh,
doesn't
definitely, yeah. And putting your hand up for something tricky and putting yourself out there, because it's not all on our leaders to do it for us. You've got to put yourself out there and have a go yourself. Put your hat in the ring for a tough job sometimes, or something that might be quite challenging. It's good to do that, isn't it, and have a go at something different. So.
Yeah, but there are still things that would just cripple me nerves-wise. So the thought of the inevitable day that I have to get on that stage at Bruntingthorpe and present something.
If I can do it, you can.
No, I won an award which Vicky gave me, and she probably won't remember, but I was literally shaking like a leaf just receiving an award, and I didn't have to say anything or anything. I just had to walk on the stage. So although I'm a totally different person confidence-wise than I was when I was younger, there's still so much that...
I can totally relate to that,
Yeah.
though.
I just think, oh my God, that still fills me with dread. Yeah.
There's a lot of people with dread,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
I think it's that all eyes on you in that moment. It's something that I'm not great with.
Yeah.
But I think it's, like you say, it's that confidence that it's got to grow, hasn't it? And the more you do it, the easier, slightly easier it gets. Slightly.
Sometimes you do just have to do it.
Feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm currently an account manager in the partnerships team, looking after, some of our brokers that we've got that we work with. But I'm going to be starting a new role on the 1st of March, part of the dealer growth team, which is looking after our independent retailers and our franchise retailers that don't currently have like a dedicated account manager, which is really exciting challenge. I've put together like some documentation that I'm quite proud of around that. I think it's exciting to see what that will look like, and seeing those, current independent retailers and dealers, like seeing them grow and using our system to like the full extent, I suppose, because I think so many of them probably don't fully know how to utilise exactly what we offer at Codeweavers. I think so many people think Codeweavers and think finance calculator, and the platform is so much more than that. So yeah, I'm excited to get stuck into it.
There's loads of opportunities.
Yeah.
Isn't there? Loads
Yeah.
of opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've got some good ideas going forwards with how we can kind of implement that new role. I think it'll be really, really good to see the growth that it'll bring to the business. So you had the change from next gear
I did.
to head of retail, director of retail.
Yeah.
So how have you found that change?
Yeah, good so far. So yeah, I'm only 3 months in. So like you say, I was sales director for next gear, and then moved across into group retail. And I mean, ever since I started at Cox Automotive, I had my eye on Codeweavers, and I was like, Codeweavers is awesome. I really want to work there at some point. And that was it, just in the back of my head. And then when this job came up, I was like, yes. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. The team are wonderful. We've got so much opportunity. But yeah, so I sit on the SLT for retail with Paul Humphreys and team, and then I directly report into Sam Panades. So the team the end of last year, the sales team for Codeweavers, retail, moved across into enterprise sales. So Sam heads that up, and we're now part of a much bigger sales team of 170 something. I'm going to get that right off the top of my head, but the collaboration piece is massive for us, right? The opportunity is brilliant, and we've already started kicking that off. You're having loads of conversations already, aren't you?
Yeah.
And you will be, and it's
it'll be
really
a
exciting.
nice opportunity.
It is, it's huge, and so I'm really looking forward to making sure that everybody feels part of that bigger, wider enterprise piece. And yeah, looking ahead, I mean, we've got loads to do, but I'm really excited about what we can all achieve together. So yeah.
I think it's really nice seeing you and Sam both in those roles, being women as well. I think that's really touches on nice with women in tech.
Yeah.
Having two kind of big roles, being both female.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She's
Strong female.
Strong female.
She's an incredible
Yeah.
leader, and she always has pushed me and the rest of the SLT way outside of our comfort zones. But do you know what? I've got so much to be grateful to her for, because of that, giving me that opportunity and pushing me. There's always a safety net there, and you know it's there. It's that psychological safety, being able to be yourself, and that's huge. But yeah, she's amazing. So.
And that goes back to obviously what you were saying, Harriet, in terms of having the right support and the right backing.
Yeah.
Means everything, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Goes a long way.
Yeah.
Yep, so currently I'm the service transition manager within CapG. So I work across lots of different teams, tech and non-tech, and areas of the business, which that's probably what I like most about my role is that cross-functional working. So working, with lots of different Cox businesses, a lot of the Mannheim businesses, and also involved heavily in the new EU wholesale platform and business. But working with the different product areas, and it's very similar to a project manager role, but on the flip side. So making sure that everything that's being developed, that is, that we're going to put live to sell, or whether that be to end users, Cox customers, or our internal customers, the business, that we can effectively support it, and that it's sustainable and doesn't have business impact. So it's very varied. It's very much like herding cats is probably a really good way to describe what I do. Yeah, no 2 days are the same.
Oh, I love that though.
Yeah, and you have to be really quite adept at working under pressure and pivoting, constantly pivoting. Yeah,
I'd say the same in enterprise sales. It is 100 miles an hour, but it's amazing. The motivation is just brilliant. Everyone's just on it.
Yeah. You've got to be really self-motivated and prepared to work hard. Mm-hmm. But it's good.
Work hard, play hard.
Still here. So yeah.
I think I can definitely relate to your 2 days are not the same. It literally feels the same in my role. So even though my job title is account manager, it feels like I do 4 different areas of the business role in one. Of maybe it's my background in support, or I've worked in the independent side where Sam is currently. But just having that knowledge across all the different how the platform works has really benefited my progression as an account manager and the customers I work with. And also working across teams, we regularly catch up with development teams, integration teams, product owners. We want to put forward to the business good ideas for how to make our platform grow. So we really rely on the users to actually feed that back to us. No 2 days are ever the same. But I do really enjoy it, and I enjoy the challenge of it. As it is the Women in Tech Roundtable, and AI is a buzzword of this year, what's your opinion on it?
I think it will be nice to see how AI benefits the tech industry, because I think whether we kind of like it or not,
it is coming.
It's already here, and it's only getting better. Mm-hmm. And I think my personal opinion on AI is unless you're threatened by it, there's no reason why you shouldn't see it as a benefit. Mm-hmm. I remember when we was at the sales conference, and the quote that somebody said,
Stuart, wasn't it?
Was it Stuart?
Yeah.
Said that AI isn't going to take our jobs, but somebody that understands AI will.
Absolutely.
And it's so true.
It is,
I think it's one of those things that we've just got to learn it. We've got to see it as a benefit, how it will benefit and make our days easier, and we can be more productive. We can put our energy into other things that AI, isn't doing for us. But I think having AI there to do our daily tasks of, the admin stuff.
Or transcribing like meetings
Yeah,
and taking notes from it, or summarising.
Follow up emails.
Yeah, exactly. Even just like not spell checking, but making sure the format is right, or like could I add a bit extra in there, or is this with the right tone to that person? Like we've definitely been adapting in probably the last 6 to 12 months, I would say, of where can we utilise it better, and I still don't feel like I know it properly, but I do think there's a lot of exciting things to come, especially within the industry, and there are areas that AI could be used to take away, I don't know, some manual kind of work, or like checking of vehicles.
All sorts of things.
Yeah.
I think it's exciting.
I'm currently working on a delivery with new AI inspection functionality, but again, that's not being implemented or trialed to replace any roles. It's there to enhance, to make it more efficient.
Like Sam says, you can use that time to focus on something else instead of spending a whole day putting some minutes together, which it will just summarise, and you can tweak and make sure it is correct. And like you said just then, it's not to take people's jobs away, but I do think like that example of the vehicle going through, like you'll have maybe a bit more standardisation, because maybe 2 different inspectors would inspect something differently. So if we're setting it as AI, like you will, as maybe a customer, get a more standardised approach. So there's definitely ways to look at it as more of an enhancement than a replacement.
Yeah,
but it's just a massive time saver as well, because you think if that your vehicle would have been inspected by a person, I can imagine it's a lot more time consuming than a computer.
And the detail.
That can do it in probably minutes or...
Yeah, but interestingly, it is proving that it is still the human eye that is better at it.
I guess it's learning and adapting.
Absolutely.
It's still growing, it's still
absolutely.
being developed,
And it's what do people say? It's what you put in.
It's
what you get out of it, and that is really, really true in this pilot that we're seeing. Yeah.
We used it, we did a pilot at Next Gear where the sales team were out every day visiting loads of dealers, and they'd have to put absolutely everything into Salesforce to record where they've been and update the notes against every single visit, because it's really important. We've got that touch point and that visit information. And we trialled it with one of the AMs and said, why don't you use Copilot on your phone with a dictation? As you come out of the dealer, you can just download everything into Copilot, and it'll get used to your accent, and it'll take some sharpening up over the time. But you can then format it into a nice, neat Salesforce update. And they were doing that, and it saved them hours every day, because beforehand they were trying to do it when they got home, or some of them might have been every couple of days, and trying to remember all that information and put it all in. You'd end up getting kind of like standardised updates, whereas this enables them to be more thorough and remember absolutely everything, and it saved them hours. So then it got rolled out. So yeah, it's been a real game changer there. And then for me, kind of trying to use it as a bit of a PA, take away some of the not difficult, but the stuff that takes me ages to do.
Monotonous and very manual jobs.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the future. So, ladies, we've talked about AI and the future of AI in tech. So, what's the future of women in tech? What are your thoughts? What can we do to help push that number up, 30%?
I think for me, I've got 2 young nieces that I would love to see them feel inspired that they can go into that industry, and that, statistics aren't that low still, that can almost make that move into the industry quite daunting. So I think if those numbers were to increase and have like that 50-50 balance, if not more, for women, I think it'd be like really nice to see the younger generation kind of feeling inspired to take that move, take that step.
Well, I think that ties into confidence and empowerment as well. like, and us within this industry, you know, speaking with those that are relatives and, you know, making sure they do feel empowered and maybe even understanding what we do, because like you said, Harriet, earlier, like even though you're in the tech world, like there's so many different aspects to it. So just to get that statistic up from, was it 20% in the engineering and tech
21,
side?
yeah.
21. Just to increase that would just, yeah, be amazing.
I think the perfect outcome would be if in a few years this is not even a conversation.
That's it, yeah.
Shouldn't
even have a
yeah,
day,
it's just a
yeah.
non-entity. It's just not even thought of at all that you have to promote women in any industry, never mind automotive or tech or, you know, anything. It's just a given.
Yeah. I think we've all got a responsibility, haven't we, to, like you said, Sam, about role modelling, right?
Yeah.
So we should all be role modelling, and I'm really big into mentoring. So I think that's something that we can all do, no matter how experienced we are. You know, if we've got a few years under our belt, like just supporting somebody that's new in onboarding or new to the business in any of the different businesses within Cox. If you can buddy up with somebody that can kind of hold your hand and kind of show you the ropes, if you like, and I think that's really important. And I love mentoring because it's kind of reverse mentoring as well. So I get loads from it from my perspective too, in a selfish kind of way. But I think that's something that we can all do. And take ownership of. Oh, an awesome conversation. It was really nice to spend time with you all. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Codeweavers YouTube channel.